Okay, so what if you could start earning money online like right now with absolutely zero skills? I mean, no resume, no interview, nothing. It's a massive promise, right? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down an experiment that put that exact claim to the test for 7 straight days. I mean, this is the hook that gets millions of people to click. But is it a real opportunity? Or is it just another one of those online dead ends that's just designed to waste your time? You know the ones I'm talking about. You see, the whole promise is built on getting rid of all the stuff we hate. No special skills needed, no nerve-wracking interviews, and you don't need a long work history. It's supposed to be the absolute easiest way to get started, especially when that first online dollar feels impossible to get. So, to get to the truth, the person behind our source material didn't just write a review from the sidelines. Nope. They dove in headfirst and actually tested the platform for a full week. So this isn't just theory, it's a real-world trial. But let's back up. Why is a promise like this so appealing in the first place? Well, it's because it taps into a very real struggle, that feeling of frustration that most beginners have when they're trying to earn that very first dollar online. And this right here, this captures that feeling of hitting a brick wall perfectly. You log on, you're all excited to start, and bam, suddenly you're hit with all these requirements for skills you don't have, or super confusing dashboards, or time-wasting interviews. It's this cycle of frustration that just makes most people give up. And this really shows the huge gap, right? On one side, you've got beginners who are just looking for a simple, clear place to start. And on the other, you've got these platforms that seem like they were built for experts, demanding advanced skills and formal applications. This gap is pretty much where most online earning journeys just end, right before they even begin. So, with that problem clearly laid out, the search was on for a platform that could actually bridge that gap. Something that was built from the ground up to be different. And these were the features that made this one platform really stand out. Just look at this list. Each one is a direct solution to the frustrations we just talked about. No interviews, no special skills, simple tasks, and it's available to anyone, anywhere in the world. It's basically the anti-platform. But of course, a great list of features is, well, it's just a list. It all sounds great on paper, but the billion-dollar question is still hanging in the air. Does it actually pay you? Let's find out. All right, the platform that was put to the test is called Jump Task. So now that we've got a name, let's see how it actually performed under pressure. So, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the experiment. This is exactly what went down on day one. The sign-up process was, no joke, exactly as promised, incredibly simple. Just 3 steps. Create an account, connect a way to get paid, and that's it. You're in. No long profiles, no skill tests, no waiting around for approval. Think about that for a second. The time from landing on the website to actually seeing work you could do was just a few minutes. I mean, compared to the days, sometimes even weeks of waiting you find on other sites, that kind of speed is a total game changer. Okay, so what kind of work are we actually talking about here? It's all built around something called microtasks, and they're pretty much what they sound like. Tiny, simple jobs designed to be done really quickly without needing any specialized knowledge at all. And here are a few real examples from the platform. We're talking about things like clicking through a series of links, maybe downloading and trying out a new app, or filling out a market research survey. Stuff pretty much anyone can do. Okay, so the platform is simple. And the tasks are easy. We've got that part down. But it all comes down to one thing, doesn't it? Let's get to the verdict. Is this for real? Or is it just another waste of time? A task was picked, it was completed, and then the moment of truth. And guess what? Money actually appeared in the account. It wasn't just a number on a screen anymore. The system actually paid out. Now, the amount earned was small. Let's be really clear here, very small. But this is actually the most important finding. You are not going to get rich doing one of these tasks. But what you will get is real proof that the system works. Real work led to real money, no matter how small the amount. And this quote from the source really just nails the whole finding. It's so important to separate this from a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not that. What it does seem to be is a legitimate, even if it's a modest, starting line for someone with zero experience. So the ultimate takeaway from this whole experiment is really about managing your expectations. This is not a replacement for a full-time job, but for someone who's been stuck hitting that wall we talked about earlier, it looks like a legitimate way to get your foot in the door, earn your very first dollar, and start building some momentum. And really, this whole experiment leaves us with a much bigger question to think about. As more platforms like this pop up, are we looking at a future where work itself is just broken down into a million tiny pieces, available to anyone, anywhere in the world? It's definitely something to chew on.
We all want to make more money online, right? But what if the secret wasn't about working more hours, but about making every single minute count? Today, we're going to break down exactly how you can ramp up your efficiency and your income. Let's dive in.
No, seriously, just stop and think about that for a second. What would you do with all that extra time? Imagine how that kind of speed could totally transform your earnings. This isn't just some fantasy either. It's a real, practical strategy, and we're about to get into it.
And right there, that's the heart of it. We're talking about a huge shift in thinking, right? It's moving away from just trading your hours for dollars and instead focusing on maximizing the value you get out of every single minute. Honestly, that one change in perspective, it's the key to everything.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we make that shift happen? Well, the answer is by getting a massive productivity boost using some tools that are probably way more accessible than you think. Let's take a look.
You know, when most people start trying to make money online, they do everything the manual way. It's kind of the default path, right? But man, is it slow. The smarter way, the faster way, is to let some simple AI tools do all that heavy lifting for you.
And this is where it gets really cool and practical. So imagine you're doing something like an online survey. Instead of spending a couple of minutes reading and rereading some super complicated question, what if an AI tool could just instantly summarize it for you? Or think about all those repetitive clicks, filling out the same forms over and over. A simple browser extension can literally automate that whole thing. These are the little time sinks that add up, and AI just makes them disappear.
And just look at the difference this makes. I mean, come on. A task that would normally take you a solid half hour can now be done in just 10 minutes. That's not just a little improvement. That's a 3-time speed increase. We're talking about a total game changer for how much you can actually get done in a day.
And that right there, that is the core idea. This is what we're talking about when we say efficient earning. It's a super simple formula, really. Get the most income possible for the least amount of time invested. Simple as that.
Okay, so theory is great and all, but let's see what this actually looks like in the real world. To do that, we're going to follow the journey of a total beginner and see how this one idea, efficiency, can literally change everything for them. So let's meet Ali. I want you to picture him starting from absolute zero. We're talking no special skills, no experience working online, and zero income. It's a starting point that, let's be honest, a lot of us can probably relate to.
So, what's Ali's game plan? Well, he starts out super simple, right? Just earning his first few dollars every day to get the ball rolling. But that initial win, even if it's small, is absolutely crucial. Why? Because it builds the confidence he needs to start learning new skills. From there, he can level up, move into freelancing, and start building a real, sustainable online income. It's a clear path, one step building on the next.
All right, so we've got these two big ideas on the table. First, this massive speed boost you can get from AI. And second, we have Ali's journey from a complete beginner to a real earner. Now, it's time to tie it all together. Which, of course, brings us to the million-dollar question, right? How does a beginner like Ali, someone starting from scratch, actually grow faster? How can he move through all those stages we just talked about, but way, way quicker? And here's the simple, powerful answer. Efficiency is the accelerator. It's not just a nice-to-have, it's the engine. By using AI, Ali can knock out those early tasks 3 times faster. And guess what? That means he's also building his confidence and his income, you guessed it, 3 times faster. This is the number I really want you to remember, 3x. This isn't just about saving a bit of time here and there. It's about multiplying your momentum. It's the force that can literally propel you through those growth stages so much faster than you ever thought possible. And that right there is the ultimate payoff. When you start working smarter, not just harder, you're not only making more money in less time, you're also putting your skill development on the fast track. And maybe most importantly, you're building that rock-solid confidence you need to take on bigger challenges and achieve real, lasting growth. So here's the takeaway. It's time to stop thinking of efficiency as just some trick or hack. It's a core skill.
It's a muscle you have to build. The tools are out there, they're easy to use, the path is clear. So really, the only question left is, how are you going to build it?
All right, let's just jump right in. Today, we're going to look at this fascinating little blueprint for how you can actually start, growing your finances. And look, this is not some get-rich-quick thing. This is all based on a real personal experiment. And what was learned is, well, it's pretty surprising.
So let's get right to the big question, right? The one everyone's thinking. After 7 whole days of trying this out, did this thing make me rich? And the answer is nope. Plain and simple, no. No lottery ticket, no giant check, just no.
But, and this is a big but, that's not the real story here. Actually, that no is where it all gets really, really interesting. Because what this little experiment uncovered was something way more important than just making a few bucks. So let's talk about the idea behind all this. It's called the multiply principle, and it's super simple. It's about how these tiny little things you do, day after day, can actually add up to something real. And honestly, that's what's so brilliant about it. It's not about making a ton of money. Not at all. The real key here is changing how you think about the money you do make, even if it's just a tiny amount. The whole process is just this little 3-step loop, right? First, you just start with some small, easy tasks. Second, you gotta save what you earn, consistently. And third, well, you just watch it grow. You let time and consistency do their thing. And you can kind of see how this plays out. I mean, on day 1, the earnings are tiny. You might even think, why am I even bothering? But then you look at day 4, and hey, it's starting to stack up a little. By the end of the week, look, it's not going to change your life, but it's real. It's actual progress that you built from basically zero. Okay, so that's the how. But that little chart with the money, that's not the point. Not really. Now we're getting to the real insight. The big takeaway that has nothing to do with the actual cash. So yeah, that brings us right back to the question. If it wasn't about the money, then what was it all for? What was the real discovery here? And here it is, the big one. The whole thing proved that starting is actually possible. It wasn't about money at all. It was about proving you could just begin.
Just think about that for a second. How many times have you wanted to do something but didn't start because it felt too big or the first steps felt too small to matter? This whole thing is proof that the hardest part is just starting. That's it. That's the biggest wall to break through.
All right, so now we're going to flip this around, because this isn't just about some experiment someone else did. This is about you. What does this mean for you? Because at the end of the day, the real value here isn't the cash. That's pocket change. It's the momentum. It's that feeling of actually moving forward, of building a new habit, instead of just staying stuck. And that leaves you with a really simple choice, right? You can either start, prove to yourself that you can do it, build that new muscle, or you can skip. And let's be real, skip usually just means I'll do it later, which never really comes, does it? It just means staying put. So I'm just going to leave you with that question. When you look at this idea, this simple plan to just start small and get the ball rolling, what's your gut reaction? Would you actually start something like this? Or would you skip it? Because honestly, your answer to that probably tells you everything you need to know about what happens next.